Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to explore a really beautiful and, honestly, a very popular spiritual idea. It's one you've probably heard in some form, but here's the twist. What if this seemingly enlightened concept has a hidden peril, a dark side? That's what we're here to unpack. Here it is. The truth lies beyond language. I mean, it's a powerful and really appealing thought, isn't it? It suggests that the ultimate reality, the deepest spiritual truths, they just can't be squeezed into mere words or ancient texts. It points to something you have to experience, something you have to feel rather than just read. And this is not just some one-off idea. You see it pop up in various sutras, those are the ancient Buddhist scriptures, where they say truth is found where the mind is extinguished. So again, this really hammers home the idea that true understanding comes when we move past our chattering, rational minds and all the words that build our thoughts. Right, so this leads us to a huge question. If the real truth is beyond words and beyond rational thought, well, does that make all the ancient teachings, all the scriptures, completely useless? Have we maybe just moved past the need for them? This is the core conflict we're digging into. Because this is exactly where we bump into what our source material calls a perilous thought. It's that tricky moment when this beautiful idea of a truth beyond words can get twisted into a convenient excuse for something else entirely. And what's so fascinating is how specific the source gets here. It actually calls this the evil thought, and it defines it as the belief that the holy scriptures of the Buddha are totally disconnected from his true enlightenment. We're not talking about healthy skepticism here. This is about totally casting them aside, saying they're completely irrelevant. And listen, this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. According to our source, it's a very real, very slippery slope. It all starts with step 1. You reject the guiding wisdom of the scriptures. Okay, so now what? Without that external framework, what are we left with? Well, that leads straight to step 2. We're guided only by our own selfish desires, our own confusion. And from there, it just escalates to step 3, where all that collective selfishness starts to genuinely put society itself in danger. So to really get a grip on this argument, we're turning to a 13th century guide. This warning comes from the Buddhist thinker Nichiren in his text, Treatise on Chanting the Great Title of the Lotus Sūtra. And what he had to say all those centuries ago, wow, it feels surprisingly, almost shockingly relevant today. So here's the absolute crucial point Nichiren makes. He says, even though words are limited, we must not cast out the Buddha's true teaching. See? He totally gets it. He acknowledges the limitation. He agrees that words aren't perfect containers for truth. But, and this is a huge but, that doesn't mean we should just throw them in the trash. And this lays it out perfectly. He's warning us about two extremes, two traps. On one side, you've got dogmatic belief. That's treating words as the absolute, final, only truth. And on the other side, you have total rejection, treating those exact same words as completely meaningless. Both, he's telling us, are incredibly dangerous. So what's the answer? Well, Nichiren points to a middle path. Revere the Buddha Dharma without making it a dogma. The Buddha Dharma is just the core teaching of the Buddha. So what he's calling for is this really mature, nuanced relationship with wisdom. Respect it, learn from it, use it as a guide, but don't become some rigid fundamentalist who's blinded by the letters on the page. Okay, now let's zoom out. Let's see how this personal choice, to follow the middle path or to reject it, can snowball from an individual decision into something way, way bigger. We're talking about the thin line between selfishness and survival, and how a private philosophical choice can send ripples out that could lead to societal collapse. So, what happens when we just ignore the guidance that's been left for us? The source is crystal clear on this. First, we're left with nothing but our own selfish desires and our own confusion to guide us. And Nichiren uses this really powerful language, saying that devils get hold of people in an age of decay. It's a metaphor, right? A metaphor for losing our moral compass, for when we've totally lost our way. And it all leads to this one question, a question that feels like it could have been written this morning. When the individuals in a society are focused only on their own personal benefit, how can that society survive? This is the ultimate stake. This isn't just about one person's enlightenment anymore. It's about the very fabric of our communities. So let's just be super clear about the connection he's making here, because it's a big one. According to Nichiren's warning, this widespread spiritual neglect by individuals, this simple act of casting aside guiding principles, doesn't just harm the person. It actually has the power to destroy an entire country. Which brings us right here, right now to our final section. And it's a question for all of us living in the 21st century. What guides us now? How does this 800-year-old warning actually apply to our lives today? And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. This whole thing isn't just about ancient Buddhist sutras. It's about any guiding wisdom, any tradition, any set of shared values we might have cast aside. So in an age that so often celebrates pure individualism above everything else, what have we chosen to replace the guides we've rejected?